Right now, millions of people over 70 are eating breakfast wrong. Not too much, not too little, wrong timing. And here is what that costs you every single morning. Every hour without the right protein signal, your muscles actively break down. Not slowly, right now. Here is the fix. 25 grams of protein at breakfast. Not dinner, not lunch, breakfast. That one change, without adding a single gram to your daily total, increased muscle protein synthesis by 42% in a landmark study. Same calories, same protein, different time, different body. But most people over 70 are doing the opposite, and they don't know it. What's your breakfast protein right now? Post it below. Let's see how many of you are actually hitting that 25-gram threshold. Here is why. And the 3 things your body needs at breakfast after 70 that it didn't need at 40. A 150-pound adult over 70 needs between 68 and 102 grams of protein every single day. Most are eating half that. The consequence has a name: sarcopenia, the silent shrinking of muscle tissue with age. The German Geriatric Society is direct about the numbers. Up to 33% of older adults living at home already affected. In nursing homes, 60%. 2 out of 3 residents. Here is what makes it worse. Sarcopenia doesn't require thinness. In Germany, 54% of men and 45% of women aged 65 to 79 are overweight, yet many still have critically low muscle mass. A full stomach, empty muscles. The official protein recommendation most seniors still follow, 0.8 grams per kilogram, was built for younger bodies. Geriatric experts now recommend 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram for adults over 65. For those with chronic illness, 1.2 to 1.5. The official number didn't change. The science did. And it starts with a discovery made in 1976 that your doctor probably never mentioned. In 1976, researchers first used the term anabolic resistance. Simple idea, radical consequence. Your muscles stop responding to protein the same way. At 25, a small dose builds muscle. At 75, your muscles need a much larger signal, or they ignore it completely. Think of it like a door that has gotten stiff over the years. You used to push it open with one finger. Now it needs a full push, or it doesn't move at all. This concept sat quietly in academic journals for over 3 decades. It wasn't until 2008 that major clinical reviews pushed it into mainstream geriatric practice, arguing older adults needed substantially higher intakes to preserve muscle and function. The threshold researchers landed on was striking: 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal. Below that, muscle protein synthesis barely activates, just 12%. Above it, the signal finally fires, 78%. That is a 6-fold difference, from one number at one meal. Then came 2023. Researchers documented something new: delayed amino acid absorption in older adults after high-quality protein meals. The aging gut moves slower. Amino acids enter the bloodstream later, and in smaller peaks, which means timing isn't a minor detail. Timing is the mechanism. 47 years from discovery to clinical acceptance. And the meal at the center of that science isn't the one most people focus on. If you are over 60 and nobody has ever explained this to you, subscribe now. One new video every week, built for seniors who refuse to accept weakness as inevitable. Dutch researchers tracked 739 community-dwelling adults aged 70 and older. The finding was unambiguous. Those who ate more protein at breakfast and lunch achieved significantly higher total daily protein intake. The morning meal wasn't just one piece of the puzzle. It set the ceiling for the entire day. Then came Japan, 2021. Adults aged 65 to 80, split into 2 groups. Same extra milk protein, same dose. One group at breakfast, one group at dinner. 12 weeks later, only the breakfast group had gained muscle mass. The dinner group showed no change. Same protein, same dose, different outcome. This shattered a long-held assumption. The bedtime casein shake, the large steak dinner. Conventional wisdom called this prime muscle-building time. The data said otherwise for adults over 70. Then came the 2-year study. University of Sherbrooke, adults over 65. One group shifted their protein to breakfast and lunch. The other kept their protein concentrated at dinner. Total daily intake, identical. After 2 years, the breakfast group maintained 93% of their muscle mass. The dinner group, just 61%. Same total protein, 32 percentage points of difference. From timing alone, your muscles are waiting for regular signals throughout the day. Feed them strategically. They respond. Ignore the timing, they slowly waste away, regardless of your total intake. Subscribe to never miss new insights about healthy, independent aging. Here is what most breakfasts look like instead. A slice of toast, coffee, maybe jam, maybe butter, maybe nothing at all. Then a normal lunch, then a protein-heavy dinner, chicken, fish, beef, loaded into the one meal that science now says matters least for muscle preservation in older adults. The cultural roots run deep. In Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, the traditional breakfast is white bread, marmalade, honey. Carbohydrate dense, protein poor. A breakfast designed for blood sugar spikes, not muscle preservation. And many seniors still follow the old 0.8 grams per kilogram standard. Printed on packaging, repeated by family doctors for decades. Internalized long before the science updated. The German, Austrian, and Swiss nutrition societies have all revised their guidance for adults over 65. The message hasn't reached the breakfast table. Here is the mistake almost everyone makes when they finally try to fix this. And it is why the change doesn't stick. They add more protein somewhere in the day, a protein shake at 8 p.m., a bigger dinner, an extra snack. But the threshold system doesn't work that way. Your muscles don't add up the day's total and distribute it evenly. They respond, or they don't, at each individual meal. Below the threshold, the door stays closed. Above it, the signal fires. Miss breakfast, miss the signal. No catch-up at dinner. Now, the 3 things your body needs at breakfast after 70. First, 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast. Every morning, without exception. A study at the University of Birmingham found that eating a palm-sized portion of protein at breakfast increased whole-body muscle protein synthesis by 47% compared to a carbohydrate-heavy breakfast. This elevated state lasted for over 5 hours. Nearly half your waking day, spent in muscle-building mode, simply by changing what lands on your plate in the morning. Adults over 60 who consume less than 15 grams at breakfast experience a 71% higher rate of muscle protein breakdown throughout the morning. Hours of active breakdown every single day, before lunch has even started. Second, the source. Not all protein triggers the same response. Even with identical grams, the differences are dramatic. A study comparing 12 different protein sources found response variations of up to 64%. Same grams, different results. Here is what the data shows. Eggs, 97% digestibility. Complete amino acid profile. 3 large eggs deliver 21 grams of highly bioavailable protein. Greek yogurt, 92% digestibility. The probiotics enhance protein absorption by 31% compared to regular dairy. Fish, particularly salmon and cod. The omega-3 fatty acids amplify the muscle-building signal by 43% compared to other animal proteins. A palm-sized fillet, 28 grams of protein, plus anti-inflammatory benefits that directly reduce age-related muscle loss. Lean poultry, 89% digestibility. Tough cuts of red meat, only 63%. You could be eating the right amount and only absorbing 2/3 of it, simply because of the cut. Ground meats, slow-cooked proteins, and fish consistently outperformed dense steaks and chops by margins exceeding 25%. The difference isn't just what you eat, It is how digestible it is when it arrives. Third, the tool. No apps, no scales, no calorie counting. Hold your hand out right now. See your palm, from wrist to base of fingers. That is your protein portion, that thickness, that surface area. Researchers at the University of Illinois tested this method against precise gram measurements across 800 participants. 94% of people using the palm rule hit their optimal protein threshold at every single meal. Researchers at Texas A&M found why it works. Your palm size correlates with your lean body mass at 87% accuracy. Your body gave you a built-in measuring tool. A smaller person with a smaller palm gets an appropriately smaller portion. A larger person gets more, exactly as it should be. A palm of chicken breast, approximately 28 grams. Greek yogurt measured to your palm surface, 24 grams. A palm of salmon, 26 grams. Even tofu and tempeh fall within the optimal 20 to 35 gram range. After 6 months, 89% of palm rule users were still hitting their targets. Gram counters, only 31%. Nearly triple the long-term success rate. From using something you have carried with you your entire life. Your protein intake was being wasted after 70. Not because your body couldn't use it, because it was never on the breakfast plate to begin with. 25 grams in the morning, familiar foods. Within 3 days, a steadier appetite throughout the day. Within 3 weeks, measurable grip strength gains in clinical trials. Within 12 weeks, actual muscle tissue, proven, in a controlled Japanese study. Why is this important? Independence. Stairs without the railing. Groceries carried in one trip. These are not accidents of genetics. They are built at breakfast. Pick the egg, pick the yogurt. Pick one that lands on your plate tomorrow morning. Continue with the Healthy Aging Mastery playlist, your complete guide to staying strong, steady, and independent.